Welcome to Main Street Gamers Fireside Chat. Wow.
Fireside chat.
Wow.
We sit by the fire and we chat.
This week's Fireside Chat, well, there's going to be several
New
this
intro.
week.
That's coming at you.
But today's Fireside Chat is on Diablo 3 on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, you played Diablo 3 a lot on the PlayStation, or on the computer. What do you think about this Xbox 360 version?
This is everything that I've wanted from Diablo 3. Because, well, let's start. Let's get this party started. First off, you don't need a $2,000 supercomputer to enjoy 1080p, 60 frames a second gameplay. Like, one of the biggest issues I had playing on PC was my computer. Like, I have a Dell Inspiron. It's got an i5 processor. It's like this. Like, there's one better than it, which is the i7 for Dell. So it's like, it's not terrible. Like, it looks good and everything on my computer. But there's still moments in the game where, like, either you'll jump in and it will lag really bad, and when you're playing on Infernal difficulty, you'll die before you can even hit a button to do anything about it, like hit a skill or whatever you want to use, or hit the potion button.
Yeah.
So that was like a huge issue with
That sounds annoying.
PC. And now, all that's gone because it runs on your Xbox 360. It runs beautifully, smooth. Like, even when I'm playing online, I don't think I've ever had that problem with, like, lag or anything.
Outside of the performance issues, what other sort of things did they do to improve the gameplay?
Alright, so there is, the camera's a little more zoomed in. It's still, like, over the top. It's not quite over the shoulder, but it's getting there. So, like, you can really, like, you can really see the battlefield a lot better and, like, examine, like, what's going on, like, how many enemies and stuff you really have in front of you. Because, like, Diablo 3 on the computer, it's pretty far zoomed out with a point where there's just, like, you don't even know how many creatures you're stopping on right now. It's just ridiculous, like, how many can be on a screen at one time. So that's really nice. It's zoomed in, and you can actually, like, when you equip something cool, you can actually, like, see it now on your character, which I really like. And then when it comes down to gameplay, the biggest thing they added was the ability to roll with the right stick. You just hit the right stick, and if you move it up, you'll roll up, or if you hit back, you'll roll back. And you can evade all over the place, which is really awesome because, like, there'll be area effects. I talked about this in my review. There'll be area effects of enemies after you kill them. Like, there's these bloated corpse that will, they'll puff up really big and they'll explode and they'll do an area attack. And on the PC version, if you weren't, like, paying any attention and you killed one, you just had to deal with it because it was, like, it's hard to get out of the way sometimes. But I don't know how many times I've used that roll and gotten out of the way of attacks, and it's amazing.
That sounds pretty cool. Do you have to be a fan of fantasy sort of games to like this?
You have to be. I want to say necessarily, like, the Diablo on 360 is a lot more rewarding than it is on PC. Like, on PC, you have to be a fan of a, like, loot grinding adventure game, like, action game, and you really need to, like, understand, like, how each class works to and really not necessarily, like, enjoy it necessarily, but, like, really, like, get the most out of it. But on 360, it's really, I mean, anybody can play it because, like, there's 3 difficulties, which is normal, hell, inferno, and nightmare. But that's not the order. It's normal, nightmare, hell, and inferno difficulty. And then now on the 360, inside of each difficulty, there's another difficulty setting, so you can play on easy, on normal, if you're, like, a new person in this game to the series, and it's really not that difficult, but trade-off is not as good of loot will drop, so it's a good place to start if you haven't if you're not really experienced with Diablo at all. But the thing about the game is there's no real major consequence if you die, because what happens when you die is your gear has a durability, so anytime you die you lose 10% durability on your gear. And then eventually when you die, all your gear will fall off, and then you just have to use the gold that you've acquired off the enemies to repair it.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's not really like, there's never a point where like you'll get stuck necessarily that you just can't do it, because like the creature's health will stay down, so you can just come back swinging.
Yeah, that sounds cool. What did you give this game as your final rating?
This game got a 94 out of 100.
Wow, making it the highest reviewed game in Main Street Gamers history.
It is,
Do you think it is
so
worthy
far.
of the title?
Absolutely. Like, I wasn't really excited for this game on 360 up until I seen some gameplay of it. And what actually really got me excited was I went back to my PC game, and I have a level 60 barb. I've beaten the game multiple times, and like I was just tired of like clicking and like the awkward layout of like having to have my fingers where my skills are set, and then slouched in my chair for like 4 hours that I'd play on my 17-inch monitor.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, I can sit in my recliner on with my 42-inch TV and enjoy the best Diablo graphics I've ever experienced. And then I watched some gameplays of it, and I got really excited. And then I played it, and it wowed me in every single aspect of the game. I was not expecting that game to score as high as it did, to be honest with you, until I played it.
That's
and
great.
I actually stayed up the the midnight. I went and got it. I got it like, by the time I got home it was like 1 o'clock, because I was getting food and stuff, and it took forever. But so I got at 1 o'clock, and I managed to
This
stay
podcast
up.
is not sponsored by McDonald's.
Because the drive-thru sucks. Anyways, so I got home at like 1, started playing it, and then you went to bed. I don't know what time you got off, but I managed to stay up till like 10 in the morning was probably the time I actually went to bed. So I played it for like 8 hours straight right off the bat, and just could not stop playing it. Like, didn't want to go to bed. It's amazing. I'm level like 22 right now. It is fantastic.
Excellent. One final thought, Davis. One final thought on Diablo 3.
I'm really like, the thing about Diablo 3 is it is probably the best bang for your buck when it comes to a full title like Xbox 360 game, because you're gonna play probably at this rate. I'm probably gonna play like 20 hours on the first difficulty, and that's just the first difficulty. That unlocks the next one, and you're gonna want to go back and play it because you're gonna want to reach level 60, and you're gonna want to get better gear, and then you're gonna go back again and play it on Inferno, and then you're gonna go back again and play it on Nightmare, then Inferno, and then there's more difficulties within that difficulty. So then I can go and play Inferno on easy to get like whatever gear it is, and then I can go back again and play it on Master, and that's where all the sweet loot's gonna drop. And I cannot wait for Inferno with Master, with me and Nolan rolling through with our characters. It's gonna be
Davis,
fantastic.
thank you for joining us here on Fireside Chat. Look for Costly Davis's review on MainStreetGamers.com, and thanks for watching.
Go buy Diablo.